We are live. Let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome back to another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet. We're back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today we have a very special guest, a returning special guest. We have Kaylin Kole. How's it going today?
It's going really great despite the negative 10 degrees outside, but that's why I have my hat on because it's cold inside as well. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's been going great.
I feel that's been me pretty much. Even though it's been like 50 degrees outside, still cold inside because it's too warm to put the heater on, but too cold to put an air conditioner on. So it's just like, okay, well, I'm going to just kind of live as it is.
I know. And it like gets dry too inside sometimes. So you're like, you don't want to like dry your skin out and stuff, but it's a whole process.
Right?
That's for sure.
It reminds me of living back home in Chicago, where it's just it's that time of year. So
I was just playing shows in Chicago with my friend Lexi, who's on the road with me currently. So, yeah, it was cold when we were there.
It usually is, especially right up against the lake. So
yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
So so you're like right at the tail end of your tour. How's that been going? You're back up in Wisconsin now, so how's tour been?
It's been going great. My friend Lexi Lou and she also lives in Nashville. We've been on the road for a couple weeks now, and we have one more week of shows, and then we'll be headed back to Nashville. But we started out in Chicago, and then we kind of went up north towards like the Appleton, Green Bay area of Wisconsin. And then now we're staying kind of south central for the last leg of the tour. And then we will head back. So it's been really good. We've been able to kind of peruse around, and I showed her a couple of cool spots that I like to hang out. And we went hiking despite the very frigid temps. We have not left the house though in the past couple days because it has been negative below zero. So it's been interesting, but nice. I feel like the next time I bring Lexi up here, it'll have to be like August or July, one of the most hot months up here to pay her back.
Right. I feel like August would be the best time because I feel like in that part of the country, August is the enjoyable hot time of the year. Yeah. Whereas July, I just feel like it's brutal and unforgiving up there.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, I love the summers up in Wisconsin, but I just cannot trade the summers for the winters. Yeah. So that's why I picked more of a south central part of the United States to live in.
Yeah. I mean, not that Nashville is warm by any means all year round, but it's still fairly manageable. So
you don't need to wear a parka in Nashville. You have to here.
Yes, this is a fact. Like Texas is very similar to Chicago. Like when it gets cold, it's very cold. And so like you have to double up on everything because wind will cut right through everything. So
I bet. Yeah, I bet.
But, so tour's going good. You just dropped a new single. How's all that been treating you?
Good. I'm glad that we could talk about it on the podcast, but I did 2 radio interviews with Lexi this past week. One was in Madison, Wisconsin. The other was in Green Bay. They're like sister stations, so they had reached out to each other, which was very kind of them. But it was on Civic Media, which is just like a radio app that you can listen to, and they'll save the episode and put it on Spotify as well. So it was just a really great opportunity to get the song out on the radio. And we've been performing it this whole run as well, and people like it. So I actually wrote it with Lexi and our other co-writer, Brian Dolloway. Nice. And it's been going really well so far. And a lot of people are like, "You've found your sound." Like it sounds really soulful and just it sounds like Kaylin Kole. So that's always great to hear as an artist too.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a different sound when I was listening to it over the last, however long it's been.
Yeah.
It sounds different. I wasn't expecting like that, but when you say that it feels like your sound, that's the words that I've been searching for to describe it. Like, I wasn't expecting it, but it sounds comfortable.
Yeah, it was. And Kate Malone, who produced it, and all the people on the record just really outdid it this time. I mean, we recorded Me this time, and then my last single, See You Tonight, in the same day. And we had rented the studio out, and it was just magical. I would highly encourage musicians that do like soulful country, rock, whatever, in that kind of genre space, to record all in the same room. That's really fun. Like Abbey Road, that studio overseas, is all in the same room. But there's like something that happens, and that was the first clump of songs that I had done that with, and it just felt so much more natural that way. So
Nice.
it was really cool.
For sure. And so does this mean that we're going to kind of put all the whiskey drinking songs to the back burner for right now?
I think so. That was a great first project to come out.
Yeah.
Bourbon Warfare, I was very proud of it. But this next batch of songs, I don't think has any whiskey references in them. Nice. So I think we have possibly outgrown that for now.
Fair. Very fair.
Yeah.
You brought up Brian Dalloway. He was one of the first people we worked with the first time we went to Nashville. And
really?
I got to reach out to him. It's been probably since 2018 since I've talked to him. Yeah,
he's great. I love how he can just get in a room, and he's a very flexible writer. And Lexi and I mean, we're best friends as well as like partners in business and everything. And just the chemistry between us three is really, really awesome. And I'm glad we could get this song to what I envisioned it to be, because I kind of just sat down and talked to them a little bit about it, kind of what I was going through. And I was like, I want it to be like a jazzy, bluesy tune. And of course, Lexi Lou rips on the guitar. So she created a beautiful riff to it. And we kind of just started from there. So,
nice.
Yeah.
I dig it. So is that kind of your go-to, is that like a go-to trio for writing for you? Or is that just kind of what happened to be this batch of songs?
Yeah. Well, the other songs, I've had great success with writing with new writers this past year and a half, just because it kind of takes it takes independent artists, I think, a while to figure out what songs are pretty cohesive that they want to put all on one project and whatnot. But Lexi Lou is, of course, one of my favorite writers to write with. So is Julielle. So is Micah Kennedy and Clay Cormier. I like them a lot too. They're two boys from Louisiana
Nice.
that Clay has recently moved to Nashville, and Micah's making his way up soon in the future. But there's just a lot of talented people, and I'm very open to working with people, with new people, because I feel like I still have time to, I definitely have time to grow in my career, but I'm very early on in my career. So I'm very open and fluid to which writers I write with. I'm not like, these are my 5 and I only write with them. I don't think I'm there yet, but I would love to be there. However, I do have my favorites in town, and those 4 that I mentioned are my favorites.
Nice. That's really cool. But having that openness and that fluidity just to kind of welcome in new ideas and new processes and new thoughts, I think that's going to take you very far in your career, because it's like, I talk to a lot of musicians where it's like, nope, I only write with these 3 people. They're who I'm comfortable with. And I get the logic, because songwriting is a very personal experience for a lot of musicians.
Yeah.
I guess for every musician, right? And it's not always easy to kind of let people in on those experiences.
Yeah, and that's 100% right too. I mean, there's no like one way to write in town, but one thing I want to get better at this year though is ever since COVID, I wrote majority of the time by myself in COVID, but then after that I was just like everybody itching to write with anyone, but I have kind of lost that tool of writing by myself. And so I've written one song by myself this year so far, and I like it. It definitely needs to be a little polished, but I want to definitely get better at that this year, just writing by myself. So.
I've understood, completely understood. Because at least like with writing by yourself, when you do go into those group scenarios or those writers rounds or those writing sessions, you have unique ideas of your own to kind of bring to the table. Like, I mean, it all works together cohesively.
Yeah, and I feel like I need to get, I'm always striving to be better as a musician, and and as a writer specifically, I'd just like to get more confident with the direction of the song, with where it's going, and my ideas and the execution of that, just because I think I could get better at that. And sometimes I feel like I lean on people during a co-write to validate that I'm not crazy about the song ideas, and they're like, yeah, I actually like that. Let's continue with it. So.
Fair.
Yeah.
So your new song, Me This Time, is out now. If anybody's listening after the podcast, the link will be in the description, all that fun stuff.
Amazing.
What is the kind of the story behind the song? How long have you been sitting on it?
I have been sitting on this song for quite a while, actually. So I recorded it back last spring with See You Tonight, and there are two songs that are kind of intertwined. So See You Tonight's more of the, you know you're not supposed to really be with this person or give them your time or energy because they don't treat you the way you should be, but yet you revert to your old ways and you continue to like see them. It's kind of it exemplifies like a cycle of an unhealthy relationship. It's like people sometimes can't break from those, and that's real. I mean, that's real. Everybody kind of goes through that, I think, a couple times or once at least in their life. But Me This Time is a response song to that, and it shows the growth of the person, which would be, I guess, myself, throughout their relationships or the ways that people treat them, and all that. And I feel like a lot of people, I mean, in their 20s especially, figure those kinds of things out, maybe in their 30s as well. So I feel like a lot of people could relate to those two songs. And it's more of like an anthemic, I'm going to be unapologetically myself, and I'm going to be okay if I walk away from this situation that's not the best for me, because I still have myself and I know what's best for me. So that's basically what Me This Time is. And I've gotten a lot of love on it lately, which is great. Some high schoolers, which I'm glad that I could, influence the younger people as well, with being strict with, I guess, teaching people how to treat you in those situations. But I've gotten a lot of good feedback on that from high schoolers, but also people in their 40s, 50s have reached out. So it reaches a wide demographic of people, this song, which I'm very glad it does, because I think this is one of my first songs that truly do.
Yeah. And that's always a good sign, kind of showing the I'm going to say versatility, because the wording is just not coming to mind, but like the age versatility of it, speaking to younger kids that have probably are in high school, that are probably going through some things that young kids do, and then as you kind of grow older, there's still some tendency to go through some things, and I feel like that song can resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah, I think so too, and I'm glad that it's out. But yeah, I was sitting on it for a while, and I hope to have more content surrounding the song coming out soon. So
nice. I feel like this song could really do something on TikTok.
yeah, I deleted TikTok, Tom, and I
This
can't
is
get
r-
it back.
This is right. Oh yes, because we had a
So-
conversation about this.
Yes, we did. And so I don't know if that was the best move for me, but I also really love Instagram Reels, and I have a great time editing. Like it takes me a while, but I enjoy editing, especially funny videos. Lexi and I have edited a couple from this trip alone, and they're just really funny, and I like looking at them. But when it comes to like music and stuff, I feel like my Instagram algorithm or following is very attentive to my music as well.
Yeah.
And Facebook, because they kind of cross over, obviously. But yeah, I'm not like panicking yet that I deleted TikTok. I truly don't think TikTok was my app, just
Fair.
because I was getting way more activity on the others. So I was
That's
like, that's okay.
That's fair.
There will be a new one that comes out in 2 years or whatever.
I was gonna say they're gonna probably relaunch Vine, and Vine will
That'd
do
be
its
so
thing.
cool.
Yeah.
I would love that.
I think a lot of people forgot about Vine. Like
I think so,
Vine,
too.
Vine was such a cool app. I wasn't ever any good at it because like those little 7-second quick videos, I was never really good at like figuring out how to optimize them. But
Oh, yeah.
but just kind of watching them is always a good time.
They are. They're fun.
So, yeah. So I guess deleting TikTok, that just means if you want it back, you got to take a trip to like Canada or something, right?
I know. Yeah, I guess. Or like steal my mom's phone or my sister's because they still have it. And,
Right.
I could always log in on theirs, but I can't actually, work on it per se.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair. I know there's a web version that you can use, but there's like a whole process you got to get into it. And
know.
it's like, man, it's really not worth it. Like, I hate posting on TikTok, but I do it just in case. And it's just one of them deals where it's like, people are still on it. So I guess I still got to post to it, but none of my videos do anything. So it's just kind of like, maybe one day.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I feel that. So what's kind of in the plans for the rest of I guess technically we're still in winter,
Yeah.
What's the plan for the next few months? Are you looking at the next project, or what do you got going on?
Yeah. So obviously I'll be pushing me this time for quite some time. But I will be focusing on touring, hopefully like semi-locally though, within a couple of states, just because within these next 2 months, I'm going to start on my next project.
Okay.
So I'll need to be in the studio and in close proximity for those things to happen.
Sure. Well, it sounds like you need to come out to Texas, because
I would
Texas
love to.
is technically only a couple states away.
Technically. I mean, we've got Arkansas and then Texas.
Yep.
So that would be awesome. And I would absolutely love to. Actually, a couple of my friends are going to be hitting the road in Texas soon. So
Nice.
I'll see what they think of it. But it's funny because ever since you mentioned Texas, since you're living there,
Yeah.
ever since you mentioned it from the last podcast, I've been hearing a lot about Texas, and people are always telling me at my shows, even in Chicago, they're like, you need to go to Texas. So
Right.
I think the universe wants me to go to Texas sometime soon.
Right. I will just say, though, you come to Texas, you're probably not going to want to leave.
That's what people say. That's
Just-
what people were saying in Chicago. They're like, you're not going to want to go back. And
Right.
I'm like, I don't know. So,
But
yeah.
then again, it also depends on what part of Texas you go to.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Like, if you go out to West Texas, I don't like going out to West Texas, and I drive through there probably about 7 to 8 times a year. So,
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah.
Noted.
Stay away. Like, don't go any further west than like Abilene.
Yeah.
So, and no offense to any of my West Texans out there. I know a lot of them.
Yeah.
But you have to admit, there's a reason why you left West Texas.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. So you're getting ready to wrap up your tour in Wisconsin. How How have the shows been? How, like, obviously right now weather's always a concern up that far north, but how have the shows been?
It is. It's been good. People have braved the snow and have come out and supported, which is great. And just, it's really fun. It makes me happy when my friends that I bring up here, or, you know, friends slash coworkers, when they get to expand their demographic in a whole other state.
Yeah.
And people are just loving Lexi. So it's really fun to bring her up and, I guess, open a whole new door for her if she would like to continue to come up here. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm
great.
glad you're doing something like that where you're bringing musicians to areas where they're either not from or they've just not been to,
yeah.
and just kind of giving them the opportunity and kind of like a little rub saying, hey, this is one of my friends. Check her out, you know?
Yeah, and I will say, like, I won't do that for just anyone. I'll do that for the people that, you know, look out after me, and I do the same for them. And it's just, it's a special thing to have, you know, close friends in such a big city like Nashville. So I really do, I'd like to think I'd take care of my friends, to those that, like, truly meet me halfway and love on me as much as I love on them. So
Yeah, 100%. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's important because like you can't just do it for just anyone. Otherwise it starts to become disingenuous. And it's
Yeah.
like, but if you have your people that you like really love and support and really feel for their music, and you say, hey, give these people a listen, then it's like, okay, you know, it has a whole different meaning behind it. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
so you're heading back to Nashville. Once you get back to Nashville, what's your show schedule looking like?
Well, I am kind of bopping around. I do have a couple of opportunities that I'm waiting on to see if they are going to become regular opportunities in Nashville. However, I've just kind of been reaching out to places around Nashville, or even like parts of Illinois, Kentucky, you know, surrounding states that could potentially have opportunities for me. So
Yeah. I mean, that's the cool thing about Nashville in general. Like, if you're willing to drive 3-4 hours, you can get to a lot of major cities. You know?
exactly, which is really great. And yeah, I really have truly been enjoying music full time. It took a couple months to get used to the schedule change in my lifestyle, but it's been great so far. And I feel like it's so empowering to like work for yourself and be self-employed. And it's really cool to be able to truly build out your schedule every day. And no day looks the same. So
Right.
but
I
yeah.
feel that. You know, I've been experimenting that with myself because the goal is to ultimately kind of be my own boss, whether that means doing live and amplified full time, whether that means doing freelance work. And the couple of times I've experimented with a couple of different things, the hardest thing I've had is just getting the day started.
Yeah.
Like, once the day gets started and I'm kind of like, okay, I'm doing this, I got to do this, everything is fine. But I also realize that I have this ability to sit in front of my computer until 2 p.m. and then realize, oh, dang, the day's almost over. I've wasted half a day. So it's always kind of interesting, especially like when you're on your own doing a full-time thing for yourself, some of the different issues that you kind of run into, like
Yeah.
at least initially. So
I like to listen to a lot of motivational podcasts, but then also like reading self-improvement books and stuff like that helps me like gain perspective and keep my eye on the prize and stay focused, because it's like you said, when you work for yourself, it's so easy to like be not focused and just distracted with a bunch of other things.
Right. Now, was that something that you had to deal with when you first started working your own thing and music kind of became a full-time endeavor?
Well, I quit my job in July, and so all of August, I think it was July, But all of August, I was basically touring around. And so I had work. I was focused on, just performing really. And so it didn't really hit me until like October. But October I was on the road as well. So I've just kind of been on the road a lot.
Fair.
Yeah.
And I guess for a musician, it's probably a little bit different because, I've been doing a lot of these videos recently where it's like musicians, especially independent musicians, the only way you're going to have the opportunity of making real accountable money is when you're on the road and playing shows. Like just sitting there hoping on those Spotify streams isn't going to cut it because you're going to get 10 cents.
Yeah, like as a musician or an artist, even as an independent one, you have to kind of think outside the box. It's like, okay, what could be another source of income? Because your income that you're basically banking on are your shows. But let's say like weather happens or sickness, it's like then you're out that allotted money, So it's almost like you have to have like fluid income or passive income of some sort, but I'm still trying to figure that out. So
Right. And honestly, I was just doing before I got ready this morning, I was listening to a seminar thing that was going on, and there's this freelancer company that just launched an AI model. Like, so basically, no matter depending on what you do, like if you do like jingles, voiceover work, or like video creation and stuff, you could set up your own AI clone model. So it
cool.
mimics your work, and basically people come in and be like, hey, I like your style. I like what you do. I want you to make me a 30-second jingle or something like that. And this AI clone that you train will make the thing for you. So it's almost like passive income.
wow.
Which is
cool.
scary, but it's also like you're monetizing your skill set and your style without actually having to worry about doing the work, at least initially. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. But anyways, so we were supposed to have you on, what was it? Saturday, right?
Saturday, yes.
Yeah. Did that show end up getting canceled, or did you get that in?
No, we actually ended up, so it snowed about, I think, I've got it on video. You'll probably see it on Instagram soon, but it started snowing at like 4 or 3 p.m. I was like, oh no. And so the venue had texted me and they said that their DJ had canceled that night. So they moved our time up, but we played longer. So, I mean, it was kind of a win-win though, because we were able to play longer so more people could come in and see us, which was great. But then this bar owner that I am friends with in Green Bay, he's super cool and was totally understandable, like, about our situation and stuff. So it was really cool though, and a bunch of people ended up coming out and liking it, but they didn't come out until like 10 p.m. and I'm like, good Lord. So, and it was still snowing. It was snowing when we packed up too, which we packed up around like 1 a.m.
Nice.
So it was a long show, but it was fun. So.
And was it snowing like badly, or like how much snow did you end up getting that day?
I believe we got about 6 or 7 inches.
Holy hell. Okay.
I know. It was crazy. I'll have to send you the video on Instagram or something as to what it looked like after the show, but it was kind of insane.
And were you staying in Green Bay, or where were you having to travel back to?
Yep, luckily, we were staying in Green Bay. We had 2 shows up there, so we just stayed up there. Because we had one Friday night and then we had one Saturday. So.
Okay, fair enough. That works. As long as you're not having to travel a whole bunch.
I know.
Like, I don't care where you live. If you have 6 like measurable significant snow like that, no matter where you live, driving in it sucks.
It was insane.
Yes, absolutely. So I don't want to keep you here too much longer. If anybody wants to check out your music, socials, all that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, you can find me everywhere at Kaylin Kole, Kaylin Kole. That's my Instagram, my Facebook. It was my TikTok. You can probably find me on TikTok. I just can't access it. So if you want to find some old videos, some old gems, feel free. But then Spotify and then Apple Music and all the streaming platforms is the same as well.
Nice. Awesome. And so anybody wants to check out her Kaylin's new single, Me This Time, the link will be in the description below. So feel free to go check that out right now. And once again, Kaylin, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you all later. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Live and Amplified's Indie Fusion podcast. If you'd like to support anything Live and Amplified does, please follow us on all of our social media platforms at Live, the letter N, Amplified. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, any of them, all of them, at Live, the letter N, Amplified. And if you would like to buy any official Live and Amplified merch, you can do so at our merch shop, link in the description below. Once again, thank you all. Have a great day.